Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri, and is the world's first single barrel only liquor store. This business is owned and operated by Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution list. That way you'll know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and what barrel picks they have in the works. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. My name is Steve Akeley. We have a special show here live from the ABV Barrel Shop Tasting Bar, and I'm joined by Darren McCroy. Darren, how you doing, man?
Great, how are you doing?
Good. We're talking about bourbon adventures today.
Okay.
How about that? Something you should be in tune with. So,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about some that I've got going on coming up, some that you've got going on because you are Mr. Bourbon Adventures out there. So we'll find out what you have in the mix. Before we get to our topic of the day, though, wanted to talk to you a little bit about a topic that you wanted to talk about. What is that?
So,
it's well stated. Got lost in my own words there.
So, if you were to start your own distillery,
yes,
would you have your flagship product the same name as your distillery? And what would you name both your flagship product and your distillery if they're different?
Okay. I think that my flagship product, it gets confusing to me when they don't have the same name. I'm like, what is this? So what is, it's like Liberty Pole Spirits. It's Mingo Creek Distillery. And when I see Mingo Creek Distillery, I'm like, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I know Liberty Pole. When they said it, I just assumed Liberty Pole was the name of the distillery. So I would definitely name the distillery and the whiskey the same thing for the flagship. Now, there could be other brands and things like that have different names, but I think the big thing has to be the same. So I definitely would be in favor of that. In terms of my own distillery, I really haven't ever thought about it because I've never wanted to open a distillery. I mean, that's the thing. I think that there's a lot of things that go into that are skills I don't have. I'm not good at baking, and basically being a distiller is an offshoot of baking. There's recipes and you have to follow. You add artistry to it. I'm not good at any of that stuff. I don't feel like I would be a good distiller.
No.
And then you also have to have kind of an engineer type mind. There's always equipment problems. You got to figure that. From working here, I can't figure out anything. There's nothing that I can fix or do or anything like that. My mind just doesn't think that way. So I've never had this romanticized idea of I'm going to open a distillery where I'm going to make stuff. Now, sourced brands, yeah, I've thought about sourced brands and things like that. But again, you're not talking a distillery. It's not that sort of involvement. And it's a very expensive proposition too. And I just always, have thought, man, you got to put all that money into it. And ultimately, you end up being asset rich, I think, but cash poor for a long time. Now, that can turn around at some point, but I think for the most part, people who start a distillery, I mean, they're investing in all that equipment at first. They're probably buying land. They're building a distillery. They are then laying down whiskey, and all that means they're probably taking on enormous debt. There's very few examples of people that have paid as they've gone, somebody like a Royce Neely. But again, that's just a unique situation. He was able to work something out and partner with his father, who was able to build a lot of stuff, save so much money on that type of thing. So yeah, it's for the most part, that's it. So I haven't really, the long answer to your question is I don't have a distillery name.
Okay. I'm glad you took a long time to answer that question because I asked this question without having a thought in mind. Like what
about you?
So I came up with something while you were talking.
Okay.
But I just was thinking on the way down here, what would you name a distillery? Because there's so many distilleries popping up. How would you go about that? And the best thing I've thought of so far Again, this was in the last 10 seconds. It might need some polishing.
You should be listening to what I'm saying and not thinking about the answer to your question.
Well, I wasn't actually talking about like me doing it. I was talking about like other people, like how they start distilleries and name them stuff. 'Cause I have no interest in doing all the science and all that anyway. Right. But just what would I call a distillery if I happened to get one? I think it would be something like Quercus, which is the Latin name for oaks.
Yeah.
And I like the letter Q. It's one of my favorite letters.
Right.
And so I could have a Q in my logo, and that's all I'd come up with.
Quercus, huh?
Quercus, yeah.
Huh. Okay.
And then I agree with you, though. The flagship whiskey should be something of that similar.
Right.
But then I could do special releases of all the different Latin...
special Quercuses.
Yeah, special Quercuses.
Yeah.
Northern Ohio Quercus.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. Well, yeah, you better stick to what you're doing here.
Yeah.
I think
I didn't say it was a good idea.
That's important, yeah. All right.
I've also historically been the worst at naming things. I had about probably 8 years of my life that I named everything Tommy or Bob. Didn't matter. Every new stuffed animal, everything. It was either Tommy or Bob. Those were the only two options.
Yeah. If you were going to get a pet, what would you name the pet?
See, that was really hard. It took me a day and a half-ish to name my dog.
Okay.
Before there was something my parents would accept as a name. I was trying everything, like Rock, Driveway, just like anything I could think of, just seeing what I could see around me.
Driveway the dog?
Yeah. Ended up being, her name was Jazz. And Jasmine for long. But because the Utah Jazz were playing a basketball game on TV. And I was like, oh, look, let's do the Jazz. And they're like, you know what, that works.
Okay, they approved that. So your parents gave you the naming rights, but they had to have final say on approval.
Yeah, because if not, it had been named Rock or something absolutely stupid. Okay. So I've never been good at naming things. That's also why I don't want to have kids. I'm going to just name them something stupid. So it's better for the world if I
One time my kid got to name a wolf. I used to be involved in the wolf sanctuary here. And they had an auction where you could name one of the wolf pups. And we came up with, she just wanted to call it Cat. That's her name, Cat. And they were like, no, that's we're not doing that. So then we went back to the drawing board and came up. Her name's Catherine Stella, and we called it Catella. So that they liked that. That sounded like it was a Mexican gray wolf. They thought, oh, this sounds like a good Mexican gray wolf name. So they approved that. So so Catella was her wolf.
Is she better at naming things now?
No. She has a cat. His name's Pizza Guy. So I would say no. She's still bad at naming stuff. So that's what she's got. So Pizza Guy, and she has a second one too named Simon. So Pizza Guy and Simon. I have no idea where the Simon comes from. Pizza Guy. I don't know either. I have no idea.
Was he like eating pizza?
I guess. I guess. Yeah. So she got him from that Cat Cafe place. So,
okay.
Yeah, that was like two brothers, and you had to take them both. So she took them both. So. Yeah, so Simon and Pizza Guy. Yeah, well, that's a classic name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what you get. So, and then Catella the wolf, you'll like this. So Catella, beautiful wolf. We got to go hold it. This was when it was a brand new pup. Kind of, you could finally, hold it. It was just young. And we went in and met the pup. It was cool. And then we would, of course, at the Wolf Sanctuary, we'd go see Catella and stuff like that. And then you find out that the wolves aren't owned by anybody. They're owned by the federal government. Yeah. So the government decides they're going to transfer Catella. And we're like, oh, shit. And then they're like, she's going to the Washington Zoo. Oh, cool. And going with her brother or something like that. Oh, okay. That's cool. Or sister. I can't remember. A sibling. And I thought, well, then she's got a friend there. So we go in Washington. I introduce myself to the folks in D.C., say, this is our wolf and all this. And they're cool. Then we went and saw her, which was very cool, too. So we go to D.C., and there's Catella. And she was a beautiful wolf. You could tell who she was by her markings. We knew her from being at the Wolf Sanctuary, so we go there. And these wolves are far away. They're nowhere near, because they're behind like a chain link fence type of thing. And that wolf, not any of the other ones in the pack, her comes running down to the fence. She knew us, which was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So great experience, and I wrote that I'd like to adopt Catella, in their adoption program, and they were like, we don't really do individual wolves. You can adopt the wolf, and I was like, I don't know. And then I don't hear from them, and then like a month later, the Washington D.C. Zoo sends me an email and says, Catella was killed by her sibling yesterday. I'm like, oh fuck,
that's awkward.
Yeah. So that was no fun.
Yeah.
So that's how that story ended. That was not a good story.
That's not the ending I was wanting, Steve.
No, but that's how it happened. It's
I thought you were going to be like, and then the third part of her life, she was released into Wyoming, and we went and saw her in Wyoming.
Ultimately, yeah, they want to. Of course, the feds manage that stuff, and then they want breeding stocks, so they manage all that, and then she never made it that far though. So that was it. She made it to D.C. So. Yeah, there you go. What are we drinking today? I've got Heaven's Door 10-year-old rye in my glass. What are you drinking?
Heaven's Door 10-year-old rye.
What the hell, you copycat? Look at you son of a gun, you. All right, well, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
All right. What we'll do next, we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about some bourbon adventures. We'll do that in just a few. Let's talk about the people who make these shows happen. First up is the ABV Barrel Shop. It is the most unique shopping experience in the world of bourbon, as the ABV Barrel Shop only sells single barrels. Owners Steve Akeley and Jim Fosnot select. With over 100 distilleries on board to sell us barrels, we are home to the most unique and diverse barrel pick selections in the bourbon world. By signing up for our email, you will always know what we have in stock. In addition to the single barrels, we'll have a gift shop featuring ABV Barrel Shop as well as ABV Network merchandise. We are partnering with vendors like Art Eatables and Old Man Bay Signs to bring you unique items you can't find anywhere else. We will also have a 24-seat classroom where we are offering educational and fun classes like Breakfast and Bourbon, a series where we pair donuts and bourbon, customer barrel picks, and opportunities to learn from master distillers and other bourbon dignitaries. Best of all, we feature a tasting bar where you can try before you buy. All of this is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. If you are in the St. Louis area, please stop by to say hi. If you're traveling in from outside the area, please take advantage of our hotel rates with the Drury Inn and Pear Tree Inn, less than a mile from our shop. This can be done via the links in our Visit St. Louis section on our website. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to plan your trip. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. Hi, this is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network. We're sponsored by the Stave and Thief Society. This is where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge a bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification program available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Okay, let's talk about the Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent trips to Kentucky. Today, he is amongst the leaders of young distillers leaving their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery yields insight on their unique family history, why their products are special, and gives you the opportunity to taste their whiskey, moonshine, and creams. Check them out at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com or visit them in Sparta, Kentucky. Catherine Carpenter versus Julian Van Winkle III. Which of those two do you think deserves to go in the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame?
Oh, Winkle.
Winkle. All right, everybody, welcome back. My name is Steve Akeley, talking about some bourbon adventures. We've got lots of fun things going on. Most of my bourbon adventures these days are right here in the ABV Barrel Shop. I'm not getting away from here very much, but I've got some cool things coming up. So we've got some press stuff here. We got Rare Hair. We'll be doing a tasting of that coming up. It's a 30-year-old Canadian whiskey. It's a Playboy brand, which is kind of cool. I've got the new Bookers over there, which is also a very cool thing. And that's a couple of my adventures that, the people still send me whiskey. And then I just got news today. Jack Daniel's is coming out with a new rye series or line or something like that. And I got invited on a press junket for that. And it's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah, it sounds like a good old time.
Yep. So I got to drive into Nashville, and they put you up in a hotel there, a little reception, and then get on a bus. You go to Jack Daniel's distillery. You spend some time there, and you also get taken over to Alabama to their cooperage. And when you're staying at Jack Daniel's, you're in Airstream trailers, which is kind of cool. It sounds just like a good time. That's going to happen in early August. So
also, like, those Airstream trailers should be something that they should have like rented out Airbnb style. I feel like that would be a great.
That would be. I'll leave a 5-star review, and hopefully they're like, oh man, let's just do this full time. So that's my bourbon event. I got some other stuff I got to work on. I want to do that motel in Bardstown. They won't play ball with us. So all I can do is set a date, have everybody just like, hey, if there's a room available, book it, and we'll figure out and do something. So that'll be coming up at some point. They want us. We can rent the whole thing, but then they also want to charge food and beverage minimums. They also want to put me on the hook if someone cancels, and that shit happens. I mean, you get there that day and someone's calls and be like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it. And of course, they want their money back. They're like, they could give a fuck about me and what I have to deal with. So I'm not going to do anything where I put myself on the line. But we will put something together where we just book and say, hey, here's the date, and go from there. Still talking about a Northern Kentucky thing. We had something going on with that, and then Jay from New Riff got hurt. We need to do that. I know McNew's working on something, and I think there may be another one in there too. Cedar Ridge. I want to go to Cedar Ridge in Iowa. So, yeah, they've got a pretty cool setup there. So that's some of the bourbon adventures that I need to work more on, but haven't had time to do that yet. How about you, man? What are your bourbon adventures coming up?
So, next week, I am going to go to Jim Beam for the first time. I haven't been to a big distillery yet.
Okay.
I've been to several of the smaller ones, but I'm going to go to Jim Beam and maybe Four Roses.
Four Roses, okay.
Yeah. Is on my list. And then several in Louisville, too. Like, I want to go to Peerless. And
Peerless is good.
Old Forester,
yeah.
So
might as well go to Michter's while you're there. They're right there, too. So that'll be good. You go eat at Merle's. Not Doc Crow's. Or eat at Merle's. You can eat wherever you want, but I think Merle's is better. But.
So what is Merle's for me who doesn't know?
Merle's Whiskey Kitchen is right across the street from Old Forester. Really good food. I just like the ambiance there.
Okay.
I think the food's awesome. Doc Crow's is also a well-known bourbon bar, kind of next door, same side of the street as Old Forester. So it's a easier choice. But I'm telling you, cross the street, man, and go to Merle's.
Okay,
that's the place to go.
Sounds good.
Yeah. You going to Bourbon's Bistro while you're there?
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that, but I totally should. Like, I'm in Louisville.
Sounds like you're going to be there a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you should definitely do that.
And then I want to go, not this next time, but later I want to go down to Pembroke and Pleasant View and do all those southern Kentucky and Tennessee ones.
Yeah. They've got their own little trail type of thing, but of course our buddy isn't on that. So what's the name of him?
Andy Lang.
Andy Lang. Yeah, but what's the name of his distillery? Oh,
Leatherwood.
Yeah. So yeah, Leatherwood is not part of their trail thing, but they're right there too. So you got to go see all of them guys. So yeah.
And then I'm gonna go up to Iowa and go to Cedar Ridge sometime.
Cedar Ridge. Oh, maybe you can go on our trip. Mm-hmm. We're gonna work on that. That's coming soon. I got to work on that.
And I have other thoughts in mind. Like, I heard there's a good one in Little Rock, like a distillery or a source brand doing good stuff in Little Rock.
Okay.
I have always liked Arkansas as the state.
Doesn't that distillery have rock in the name or something?
Yeah, it's
Rocktown?
That might be it. It's something with rock.
Yeah. So, yeah, it might be worth going to. Okay.
Yeah.
What else? Anything?
Do you have any suggestions of
places you need to go? Yeah, I mean, I would continue to take in as much as you can with those distilleries. You need to go to Maker's Mark at some point.
Okay.
That's for sure. Lux Row, because it's a St. Louis connection.
And I'm planning on going to Limestone Branch.
Limestone Branch, definitely.
That is one I'm going to next week. I have tickets.
Okay.
Already, so.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Buffalo Trace, have you been there yet?
I have not. I'll go there sometime.
Buffalo Trace is awesome. Yeah, for sure. You need to hit that.
Yeah.
And they have some of the best tours too, so you definitely want to check that out. So there you go. There's some of our bourbon adventures. Hopefully you guys got some bourbon adventures lined up as well, and we'd love to hear about them. And hopefully you'll be joining us on some of ours via the ABV Network Crew Club, is where we will be posting those. So keep a lookout on those, and should be fun stuff coming up. All right, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Darren, we're going to start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at The Bourbon Adventures. Also, 5 days a week at the ABV Barrel Shop. I'd love to hear about your adventures in person.
Yeah, come by. We like to talk whiskey, and adventures can be part of that. For me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. I've also got that company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. We put all of our shows out there. We've got over 3,000 for you to listen to, maybe closer to 4,000 at this point. Check us out at abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop, where we are live and in person. You can taste some of the whiskey that we've got here. You can try before you buy. So check us out online, abvbarrelshop.com. We are in the St. Louis suburb of Arnold, Missouri. All right. If you like to get involved with the show, there's a couple ways you can do it. First of all, give us a 5-star review, because that helps new people find the show. That would be really big to us. We'd appreciate that if you did it. And finally, head over to patreon.com/the ABV Network. Darren, great job today, man. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye, y'all.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen, or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Last but not least is the ABV Barrel Shop. While we don't get to play in the allocated bourbon game because we aren't selling the other products you have to do to get those, we do have access via our friendships in the bourbon industry to some really cool stuff. Have you ever seen your favorite craft distiller selling some really cool limited offerings only in their gift shop? I'm talking things like the hazmat offering Distillery 291 did for their 10th anniversary, or Neely Family Distillery's Papaw's birthday barrel. They don't have enough of it to send it out to distributors, so they only sell it via their gift shop. Well, companies like Distillery 291 and Neely Family Distillery have agreed to sell us 2 or 3 cases of these offerings moving forward, meaning our store will have the access to some of the rarest whiskeys in the world. Way more difficult to come by than the allocated bourbon offerings with a national release. Yes, they will be extremely tough to come by, but if you're a customer of our store, you'll have a chance to get them. Get signed up for our email or text list over at abvbarrelshop.com so you don't miss out.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.